folks. It's time for Rebel Nerd Radio. How's it going out there, folks? I am one half of your host, Team Steve. With me is JD, as always. And tonight we have a special guest with us. We have Rich. How's it going,
How's
Rich?
it going? Going well.
And he is with us tonight to talk about the Acolyte. We're going to have some fun talking about that.
I thought we were talking about Star Trek Voyager.
No, Deep Space Nine.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
No. That's not it.
What?
We're talking about we're talking about Star
Buckaroo Banzai and his adventures in the 24th and a half century. I don't even remember what that was about.
Damn it, I want yeah.
We need a Buckaroo Banzai sequel for sure.
Yeah.
We
All
need
right.
a modern Buck Rogers is what we need.
I heard that they were going to be doing a reboot of that.
Oh, really?
Hey, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. So we are at episode number 233. Who do we have in the chat so far? It's early, but we've got Matt. And we've got Steve Spawn. How's it going, Steve? Number 2. We have Dr. Disney. I don't think I've seen him in the chat before. If
That's
not,
my kid.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Even better.
hi, Regis kid.
How old is the said child?
He's 22, so
Okay. This is not a very clean show.
he's an adult grown man. He may not actually be listening. He's in a horror movie class in college. He's a film major, and he has to watch Nope tonight.
Okay, awesome. And there's Brennan. How's it going, Brennan? Haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Good to see you again. And I'm sure we'll have some more trickling in, as we often do. All right. Well, besides work, JD, what have you been up to this week?
Actually, this weekend was my big barbecue I had over at the house. Had a lot of
I didn't
work.
get invited to. I'm just messing with you.
I didn't get invited either.
That's right. Yeah, that is. What's up with that?
You know, if I could throw a world party where we all take a shot and just kind of like the old Terry Clark song, I want to buy the world a drink, so that way we can all just kind of chill out and have a little time and think about things on around a campfire and a barbecue with a shot of whiskey and something like that. I'm telling you, I would throw that party. I would even cook for that party, but I kind of doubt. I can't fit everybody in my parking, in the pasture of my house, so it would be kind of a problem. But no, we had our barbecue on Saturday, which is kind of cool. It turned out really good, really good. I was really nervous. I'm always kind of nervous about cooking for that many people, and getting barbecue right is an art form. I really tend to think. I mean, there's like cooking regular house meals, and then there's cooking barbecue for a lot of people that come over, and it's definitely an art form. But I got some very good compliments. A lot of people loved it, and I even had people who were taking home doggy bags full of barbecue that I made because they liked it so much. And so to me, that is an awesome compliment, and I love that. So yeah, it went very well. Did very good. A very busy week trying to prepare for that. I was actually 4 days of cooking on my part. And
if you're ever afraid of cooking, you can just take them to that Irish sandwich shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be awesome. Just have everybody meet up there. Except, yeah, that takes the fun out of it because we don't have campfires and you can't do that kind of stuff. So it's kind of hard to do all that. But no, it was like I said, it was a busy week, kind of trying to get prepped for all that. And so we had a good weekend. Sunday was definitely just kind of sitting around the house, chilling, being able to relax. And the past couple days, we've got everything cleaned up and everything's done. So yeah, that was my weekend. That was my week pretty much. So yeah, went off without a hitch and was a good time. So yeah. So
Joy has joined us. How's it going, Joy?
Shots. Hell yeah, shots all around. Rich, how was your weekend? Or how was your week or weekend?
What day? What day is today? Tuesday. God.
It is
Tuesday.
It's going pretty well. Voted today. We had a lot of good stuff on the ballot here in Ohio. So, yeah, it's going pretty swell.
What
Had
part
a
of
really
Ohio
good doctor's appointment this week that I got some good news. So I'm an old man, but I'm not going to die anytime soon.
That's good to hear.
What part of Ohio do you live in?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati. Okay.
Yep.
Right
on the banks of the Great Ohio River.
I was gonna say, isn't that the city that's like almost like right next to the Kentucky border?
It is. I could actually see Kentucky from my backyard.
I'm actually going to be in Kentucky this weekend. I don't know what time Friday. Sometime Friday, I'm going to be heading that way to go pick up the boy child.
What part of Kentucky?
Sacramento. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my gosh!
But he's been there for well over a year. I think he moved there last July, June, somewhere around that time. But he's moving back, and I'm gonna go pick him up so he doesn't have to ride a bus home.
Awesome.
But yeah, but I won't be there long. It'll basically just be like, boom, let's go. So that's this weekend. But last weekend, did I do anything? Probably not. I went and saw a movie called Good Fortune.
How was that?
It wasn't bad. It was, I was going to say there haven't been a lot of good comedies that have come out this year in the theater. So this one was good in that respect. It had Keanu Reeves, and it had Seth Rogen, and it had, oh man, I don't know the actor's name, but he is one of the guys that was in the show Parks and Recreation, guy that played Tom Haverford.
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Other than that, yeah, I really haven't done much this weekend. I did my rewatch of The Acolyte. That was about it.
Same.
Fun time.
I did forget one thing. For those of you who are Harry Potter fans, which that'd be me and my girlfriend, Harry Potter fans. I was actually more excited for this than I was the actual new series coming out, because I think it's too soon to redo the movies into a series. I wish they'd have done like a prequel or something to that effect. But for those of you who are fans and who do audiobooks and things like that, the release of the full cast edition of the audiobooks just got released. The first one got released on Audible. So Harry Potter and the Sorcerer or the Philosopher's Stone. It's the Sorcerer's Stone, but I call it the Philosopher's Stone because, yeah, for reasons. But anyway, the Philosopher's Stone.
To be British.
Yeah, well, the reason they changed is because they think Americans don't know the difference between the philosopher in old history. They thought we wouldn't understand the difference between a philosopher and a sorcerer. So,
I thought a philosopher was a comedian.
Well, I mean, the philosopher to me was always like somebody who imparted wisdom. But
that was a back to the Mel Brooks movie, History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
Where he's the stand-up philosopher.
Yeah, I mean, it used to mean something else. It used to be somebody who practiced other things, like alchemy and chemistry and things like that. But it got changed and messed up. But anyway. The full cast audio version of it came out, and I just started that today, so that's kind of fun. Something to listen to while I'm driving around.
How's it going, Tina?
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I forgot to mention that I actually got that. The first book's been released, and they got started on that today. So
Is it the cast of the movies doing the books? Is that what you're saying?
No, it is now. Okay, now I think a few of the members of the new series that's going to be coming out on HBO in
Okay.
2027, I think, is when it's slated, or maybe even next year. It might be even the end of next year. Might be when the first. Yeah, so it's not.
Got it.
No. It's not the cast of the TV show. They actually hired a whole different cast. Now I do think I think one or two of the actors from the TV show that's going to be coming out from the from the TV version of it is actually doing the voice. So the girl who's doing the voice of Hermione Granger for the first couple books is actually the girl who is going to be playing Hermione Granger in the TV series. So a few of
Very
them.
cool.
But for instance, for those of you who have ever seen the TV show House, the actual lead actor Hugh Laurie, who played House in that, he's actually British. He is actually playing Dumbledore. And so, like, I think Keira Knightley, is it Keira Knightley, is playing, is actually going to be playing Dolores Umbridge. And Kit Harington, I think, is going to be, is it Lockhart? I can't remember. I'd have to look at the full cast list, but like, there's some notable British actors that are going to be in it that are actually doing the voice acting for each of them. And yeah, there's some really cool, really known actors that are doing the voice. They're actually doing the cast instead of one person doing all the voices. They actually have somebody actually playing each of the voice actors, which is pretty awesome. I was more excited for that than I am for the TV series because it's just neat to rehear the books and hear the actual characters being played by each individual person. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's neat.
So yeah,
very cool. All right, it's your time, Mr. JD. Take it away.
Oh God, I just got done talking. So at the bottom, for those of you who are interested in our social medias, for those of you who want to contact or be a part of the shenanigans outside of our normal Tuesday night shenanigans, you right there in front of you, you will see bio.link/Rebel Nerd Radio, which will lead you to a website that will give you all of our social media links, and including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and including our Discord, which, if you're new to here and you have not got a chance to see our Discord or be a part of it, I highly suggest you do that, because a lot of the people that you find in our weekly live chats, including myself and Steve, you will find in our Discord, which, like Joyce says, is 24/7 shenanigans. There's conversations in there about television shows that you're watching, movies that you're watching, even stuff about your pets. There's stuff about there if you have your own shows or anything that you want to promote on there. We have that available too, so that way you can promote some of your own stuff. Really good group of people, really good conversations. Yeah, just a good bunch of people. If you want to avoid the toxicity that is the internet and sometimes the Star Wars fandom, there's a really good group of people in there that don't judge. We do have some good, productive conversations. Most of the time, it's just shenanigans. We have a lot of fun. We talk about a bunch of different topics and bunch of different things that people are into, including comic books and all that kind of stuff. But you'll find tabs that'll link you to just basically anything. And that's kind of where you'll find myself and Steve the most, is in our Discord channel, talking to all of the people that we enjoy talking to and you see in our live chat. And it's a lot of fun. So I highly encourage you to do that. You can find that at bio.link/Rebel Nerd Radio, which will give you a link. But yeah, like I said, all of our social media is on there, and it's just a one-stop shop if you would like to contact, or if you wanted to see kind of what we're doing or some of the challenges that Steve puts up, like the 20 movies that are your favorite or something like that. He'll come up with a topic and you can participate, and we enjoy all the feedback and everything we hear from people and stuff like that. Just, you can kind of see behind me, I do a lot of collecting and things like that. So you have questions about that, you can always message me directly, and I can give you some
That's
pointers.
all stolen merchandise, by the way.
It's oh yeah, 5-finger discount from hell. No. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
I'm kidding.
We're just kidding. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into all this. I'm just saying. But yeah, and you also will find a link to our Patreon page. We on our Patreon we have we charge $2 a month, so we're cheaper than coffee. A whole $2 a month, and basically what you're doing for us by being a part of our Patreon is you are helping to fund our StreamYard bill, so that way we can keep up a good, positive, mostly glitch-free stream. It may not always work that way, but we try to make it work that way. And in return, you get exclusive access to our recorded online RPGs that we do, which is a group of us, including myself and Steve, who we do. We completed about we started and completed about a year ago, a little over a year ago.
We got a newcomer in the chat. At least I think it's a newcomer. I've never seen them. Kay Reynolds says, "I'm questioning my sanity. Are the three of you brother?"
Yeah, well, I mean, glasses, white beards, hats, Star Wars shirts.
We are not. That's funny.
That's a good question. That. I don't think I've ever had that question come up before.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, continue. Yes.
Anyway, Patreon. Patreon. But anyway, it kind of keeps it helps us. It helps us stay with StreamYard, so that way we can be glitch free, because we tried a cheaper streaming service and it did not work out very well. So basically, it just keeps us in the good graces of online streaming, whatever that may be. And like I said, in exchange, you get exclusive access to our online RPGs that we do. We have one that we completed a year ago that was Star Wars related, neat little adventure that Steve came up with. We also have a cyberpunk adventure that we are kind of on a hiatus from right now, that myself and Steve, well, I don't know how long a hiatus that will be. It just kind of depends. But myself and Steve participated in that. And here very soon, we will be starting a new campaign of Scum and Villainy that will include, yet again, myself and Steve. And Steve's come up with a rather interesting story that we honestly don't know. Even Steve himself said there could be multiple ends to the campaign. It could go anywhere.
I just said I don't have an ending written.
He doesn't have an ending written, but it still could go a lot of ways, because we tend to try to throw as many wrenches and chaos into it as we possibly can.
Hey, Andor, what's up, buddy?
And we have cats. And we have cats, too. As well as you get early access to things like... I'm going to make sure I get this right, just because I got it wrong in the last one. But Steve and his son Blue do a Bat Cave, which is all about Batman comics. And you get early access to that. And you also get early access to myself, Steve, and Dave doing the Kryptonian Chronicles, which is all about Superman. Sometimes about Supergirl, but basically about the DC Superman universe.
Yep. Our last one was we did a discussion on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, the book by Tom King. That is still on the Patreon. I have not put it on YouTube yet. I will eventually.
Yeah. And as well as early access to things, you also get our model Steve here. We'll show them to you.
All right. I will get these sent out. I've got these stickers.
He says that all the time.
I do say that all the time. Eventually, I will send these out. These are the, I'll just call those the generic stickers, because those are just stickers with our logo. I say generic because you can also purchase these, and I say that every week, and I just tell you, if you want to purchase some, just hit me up on the Discord, which means you have to join the Discord. But as patrons, you also get these patron exclusive stickers. One of these days I should actually just show the picture like in a high-res image. Show them.
Well, the good news is you don't have to be a Patreon to be a part of this, but we do have a merch shop that you can get access to if you ask Steve about it, and we have links to that in this bio.link./Rebel Nerd Radio. We also have a link to that where you can buy T-shirts, you can buy T-shirts, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hats. And there's actually prints and images on that one that Steve hasn't even showed you in the stickers. So there's some extra images in that too that you can find too, if you so choose to buy a coffee cup or a t-shirt or something. And basically, like I said, it all, just like Patreon, goes to help us fund the StreamYard bill and make sure we get to present things to you every Tuesday and keep up with the
Right.
shenanigans and that kind of
The
stuff.
StreamYard got expensive.
Yeah, StreamYard did get expensive.
But
we went
also, last thing about the Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah. Patrons are the people who support us. Patreon is the website. Anyway,
Yeah.
As a patron, you get to hear us scream your name on these live streams. So, without further ado, thank you to... Why is that still up there? Thank you to all our patrons: Dave Brown, Kelly and Chris Olson, Justin Hensley, Charlie Kirby, Chantel Gonzalez, Matthew, Steve Spawn, Brennan, Brian, and Paul. Thank you very much for being patrons and helping us pay our StreamYard bill. We do very much appreciate it. And tell your friends. Woohoo! Those are our patrons.
And we still are streaming on. We were
I
streaming
don't
on
think
X,
it'll
but
be
not.
that long.
We were streaming on X, but X got super expensive. Like, X actually doubled their prices as far as being a premium member on X.
Oh, live
So
streaming.
that,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, that kind of went away. But we still are streaming on Facebook and we are streaming on YouTube. We do prefer people come over to YouTube and be subscribers over there, but you can still watch us from Facebook if you so choose. So we do appreciate the support. Thank you so much to our Patreons. Thank you so much to everybody. And all you new people, we say this a lot, but all you new people, we really do try to be a channel that lets everybody who loves Star Wars share their opinions and share their insight and how they feel about it and just their overall opinions on shows and whatever material comes out. But we also do discourage any kind of hatred or any kind of hate speech and that kind of stuff of any kind, just because if you want to find a channel that hates Star Wars and tries to make money doing it, you can find that elsewhere. We're not going to be that way. We're not going to do that kind of thing, and we're not going to condone that kind of behavior. We condone.
Joy says you should touch our channel.
We do try to be very constructive in the way we talk about things. Like, for instance, tonight, I know there's a lot of background hater controversy on the Acolyte, but we are going to discuss the story. We're going to discuss aspects of the story. And we're going to try to do our very best to leave all of that hateful stuff out, because there are plenty of channels you can find it if you need to. So
I've got the wrench ready, folks. Just
go talk to those people. Go visit those sites. But if you want constructive criticism, if you want constructive conversation, you found the right place for it. So, yeah.
You mean there's toxic Star Wars fans on the internet?
I know, shocking, right?
Wow.
Never heard of it.
I'm shocked.
And I know you're joking, but we also don't mention any of those sites because we refuse to give them any kind of clout and we refuse to give them any kind of advertisement. So just so you know, we won't actually be talking. Yeah, we know they're out there. You people know who they are. Go find them.
Go find them and.
Or
yeah, as you said, make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate the subscribers. We're trying to get to 500. We got some special things in mind for when we hit 500. It'll be a big celebration. Speaking of celebrations, 2 weeks from today, we will be celebrating our 6th anniversary as a show.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So we're going to have a special 6 years of shenanigans episode. And if you guys have been out and you've watched our show before and you've seen our shenanigans shows, you know that those are basically anything goes. We just talk about whatever. We have no rhyme or reason to those shows. We just come in and start talking.
Speaking of which, when we have our shenanigans show, for you people in the chat and for you people who are paying attention and all that kind of jazz and those in the Discord, when we do have our shenanigans show, like you said, we have all kinds of topics. We have all kinds of things that we talk about. So come with some questions, come with some topics, come with some of your own things relating to Star Wars experiences, ideas, anything you like. We always love to. 690. I like that. But yeah, we always do enjoy we every time we have a show, we enjoy live chat participation, and we want you guys to do that. But when we do our shenanigans show, please come in and just, if you have topics, if you have things you want to talk about, if you have things you want us to talk about, we can address it in short form.
Yep.
It's not going to be like a long conversation. It's just going to be a short form conversation, but we do expect a lot of participation from you folks in the chat. So please come in, please show up, please be a part of the conversations, and we'll have just a good show of nothing but shenanigans and chaos, which we like.
Sometimes. So also on schedule next week, we didn't have an idea for what was going to be on next week's schedule, but earlier this week, I just realized something that we could talk about.
We're here. We're here.
So season 3 of Visions came out recently.
Yes.
So we could talk about that next week.
I agree. I think so.
That's probably what we're going to talk about next week.
From what I understand, it is phenomenal. From what I have read about it, people are very happy with it. And it is the return of the Ronin.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. Return of the Ronin.
But now it is time for Drawn to the Force. This is the segment where we talk about the Star Wars comics that are coming out this week. Try to get people interested in Star Wars comic book reading for all you Star Wars nerds out there. This week we only have one. Comes out tomorrow, which is November 5th. And it is the comic book written by Charles Soule, Legacy of Vader, number 10. So I'm more or less caught up with this. It's been a pretty interesting story so far. But as I said, it's written by Charles Soule, who's done some incredible Star Wars writing. There are some pretty cool incentive variant covers here. That one's kind of cool. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to represent, but this one's also kind of interesting.
I can't stop thinking about when Dave's like, I hate variant covers because you never know what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. So that is the one comic coming out tomorrow that is Star Wars related. If you want to talk more about comic books, not necessarily Star Wars, join our Discord because we do talk about comic books on there quite a bit. But here we're just talking about Star Wars comic books. But that being said, you folks know what time it is now, don't you? It is time for us to show our thingies. Show our thingies. Well, Rich, you are the
PG-13?
Huh?
Is this PG-13?
Well, technically it says it's toys, it's PG, but I mean, we did not come up with the name Show Your Thingies. That was strictly our live chat.
We just went with it. But
Yeah,
since
and we
guessed,
just-
why don't you go ahead and be the first to show us your thingy?
All right. I have a stationary camera, so I can't show you my proper
That's all right.
Boba Fett collections on each side of me here. But
Okay.
like the standard Star Wars nerd, Boba Fett is my favorite character. And
Yeah.
Dang it! I guess that means I'm not a standard Star Wars nerd.
It's pretty basic. I grew up with a single dad.
You wouldn't know the half of it, Miss Reynolds.
I grew up with a single dad, and he was really good about supporting my collecting habits and whatnot. And anyway, I wanted Boba Fett. When the Boba Fett figure was available, I wanted it. My dad worked full-time in a factory, second shift, so I only saw him on the weekends. And one weekend, we drove around the entire tri-state area, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, going into various we had toy stores back in the day. Remember that? Toys R Us, Children's
I remember
Palace,
those
KB
toys.
Toys.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
We need them. We need them now more than ever.
Yeah.
But we went everywhere looking for this dang Boba Fett. Couldn't find him anywhere. So one day we're at Kroger, the Western Hills Kroger on the west side of Cincinnati. And right there on an end cap, when we're checking out, they had a thing of Star Wars figures. And right in front of me was Boba Fett. And I grab it and I'm like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And of course, Star Wars figures at Kroger are like $1 more than they are at the toy store. So my dad's kind of mad. He's already mad that he drove around all over. But he did buy me the Boba Fett figure, which I still have to this day.
Holy crap.
It's one of the very few pieces of my youth collection that I still have. But somehow this original Boba Fett bought by my dad, rest in peace, Raymond Richmond, at the Kroger in Western Hills. He's in good shape. He sits with all my other Boba Fett toys, but
that's awesome.
This is it. This is the highlight of my collection. Still having this after all these years.
That's a great piece.
I've also got my very first figures.
Rich, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to show you something that one of our patrons and regulars from the chat room, and also a regular on the Discord, sent to me. It's been a while, probably maybe about a year since he sent it to me, Jetty?
I think so, yeah.
So this is a Boba Fett figure with, you can't really see it, but let me see if I can. It has Jeremy Bullock's autograph.
That's fantastic.
So that was sent to me by Matt, who is in the chat room with us.
Oh, Matt sounds like a good guy. The other two things I wanted to show, I still actually do have my very first 2 Star Wars figures that I ever had as a child. These are not in the best of shape. These were well worn, well played with. You can see C-3PO is, kind of whatever, and poor R2 looks like he's had a bad day on Tatooine. But these were my very first Star Wars figures that I ever had as a kid, and somehow they also survived childhood and
awesome.
up until I'm an adult. So they sit on my desk, and I have them every day, and Boba Fett off to the side there.
If we as kids knew what those things would be worth when we got older, we would never play with our toys, and that would suck.
Yep,
I'm just saying.
And we were also fooled into having a box full of Episode 1 figures in my basement that I thought would pay for my kids' education. That didn't work out too well.
That didn't work out too well.
Awesome thingies.
Thank you.
So I don't remember.
Just to be clear, Rich, I'm not a Boba Fett hater. I'm just one of those people that were like, yeah, okay, Boba Fett is cool, but I'm not like giddy over Boba Fett. I just want to make that clear.
I'm a big Boba Fett.
Totally fine.
Clearly. Anyway, so I don't remember when I got this, but I do remember it was my niece that bought it for me. It is a Jabba the Hutt lunchbox.
Nice.
Now, there is something in it. I don't remember if I've ever actually opened this before. So I don't know what's in this. But we're going to find out live tonight.
You know what's better than Star Wars toys?
What's that?
Star Wars toys with mystery stuff in it.
Yeah. Hey, Smirking Bear.
Hey, Bear.
When does anything work out well with these streams?
Hey.
What do you mean? We're doing fine. We're doing just fine. Okay. So I'm opening
I resemble that remark, sir.
Gotta be. It is my niece, so it could be. I don't know what this is. I think it's a shirt. It is a shirt. Oh, that's awesome.
Could have had a T-shirt. You could have been wearing this whole time. Oh, nice. Darth Vader on Abbey Road. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Oh wow! Yeah, I would have been wearing that this whole time.
Yep.
I'll wear it next week. All right, so that's my thingy. A thingy you can wear. All right, show us your thingy, Rich or JD. Whip it
I
out.
have to draw. I have to draw attention to Steve Spawn's comment though. He made in the chat. He said right when we were getting ready to show our thingies, he said, "Or how JD spends his paycheck." Like I told my girlfriend when we first met, it's either Star Wars toys or cocaine. You make a choice.
And she made him change his choice. So
And she made me start collecting Star Wars toys. No, I'm kidding. That's
she made you start collecting instead of
no, just kidding.
He didn't do that
Also,
anymore.
not only is one
He does still have a hydroponic farm behind his house, though.
yeah, well. Never mind the cocaine plants in the back. Just don't pay attention to that. No, I'm
I
kidding.
don't think they actually make that, Bear.
Star Wars cocaine. Spice. Yeah, well. I played a character that was hooked on spice.
That's right. In the last,
if you were part of our Patreons,
Twilight of Vakanta.
you would know that. No,
oh, you know what? When you were talking about RPGs, I forgot to pop up the little thingy for our next RPG, Shadow of the Sun.
Our next Patreon exclusive RPG will be Shadows of the Sun. And it will be fully scum and villainy driven. So just so you folks know. My thingy is one thing I like about not only is like Steve's, like when you find a Star Wars something and it has a surprise gift in it, those are pretty cool. But one thing I love about a lot of my Star Wars stuff and a lot of the things that I have Star Wars related, a lot of things I have are just, obviously they're collectible things, but some of the stuff that I cherish the most about my collection is things that actually have a story attached to it, meaning you got it from something that got us something. There's a really cool story, like I got it from Japan or I got it from different places, all that kind of stuff. And the cool thing is that some of you know that myself and Steve and my girlfriend, we all went and Spencer, we all went to Rebel ScumCon down in Texas back in August. And I actually had not got a chance to show these yet. I still have stuff left over from that, believe it or not.
I still haven't shown everything that I got from that weekend.
Yeah. But the cool part about these is that there was actually a really cool story attached. I had not planned on like having spending a lot of money on different things, and like obviously lightsabers. I have a lot of them. I have over 50 lightsabers, and there's still a few of them that I don't have, and a few of them that I have, but I want the Profi Pixel versions of them, which is the third party, really bright, the cool soundboards and all that kind of stuff, the third party maker ones. And I hadn't planned on buying any of those there, but there was a few vendors there that actually had lightsabers, which was really awesome. I went in and they were doing a thing where you spin a wheel and you actually get you could get prizes on the wheel. And I didn't know that this even existed. And then Steve told me that they were doing this spin the wheel thing, and he got a little bit of percentage off I think you got a percentage coupon or something like that, wasn't it, Steve?
I think so.
Yeah, and I didn't even know this existed. So I was like, oh, crap, well, let me go see if I can win something. So I went over there and I spun the wheel, and I got 20% off of a lightsaber of my choice that I wanted to buy. I was like, cool, but I hadn't decided which one I wanted to buy. So my girlfriend goes, well, I'll go try. She trots up to the wheel. I wasn't even paying attention. She spins the freaking wheel, and she comes back with a box in her hand. Inside the box is this little beauty. A brand new, just a basic, nice, just a cool, nice little lightsaber in it. She got a brand new, cool lightsaber out of the deal. But wait, there's more. So I was like, well, that's freaking cool. And I said, I haven't decided what lightsaber I want to use my discount on, but I was like, okay, I would like to, I'd like to pick one that I don't have. So I went and looked at a couple of the lightsabers, and one of the lightsabers that I purchased, and I'm going to save it to last. One of the lightsabers I purchased, actually, there was a they gave away a second free lightsaber when you bought this one. So when I bought the lightsaber that I bought, I actually got this black one along with it. And my girlfriend just
That lightsaber looks so cute size.
but, yeah. So I got this one as a free
Video
gift along
guy.
with the I got this one as a free gift along with the lightsaber that I purchased. And so when I actually purchased my lightsaber, there was a promise of a certain autograph and a plaque with that autograph on it that I could display with the lightsaber. That unfortunately, because of show difficulties and because of timing with the individual that was supposed to sign the lightsaber or to sign the plaque, I was not able to get that plaque. So as a free gift, they actually compensated me by giving me another free lightsaber, which is this beauty, which is actually pretty nice, like silver and gray. Really nice lightsaber.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually, no, you don't get to claim this one. But yeah, so I got a third lightsaber. And the original lightsaber that I purchased and I was supposed to actually get a signature on is the one that I don't have my collection, or that I did not previously have in my collection, but I really like it because I have the other one that has this feature. But I actually, as the lightsaber that I chose the Galen Merrick or Star Killer lightsaber from the video game Force Unleashed. And what I love about this one is you can see the crystal inside it, and if you ignite it, the crystal actually lights up on the inside as well as the blade, which is really awesome. I love that feature that you can actually see the crystal on the inside, and it's actually protected on the backside. Let's see, I can turn this off so it's not going off. But it's actually protected on the backside by a plate. And it's kind of reminiscent, if you can tell, it's kind of reminiscent of the Graflex lightsaber in kind of a way. So it's kind of it was almost parted together that way. And but the crystal was left exposed and all that kind of stuff. But this is the one that I actually chose as the initial lightsaber that I bought. And the cool thing about, what was to be the cool thing about it was I was actually supposed to get Sam Witwer's autograph on a plaque to go with it. And alas, that did not happen, which is why I ended up with an extra lightsaber. And so now I have 4 lightsabers that I brought back. And I got all of that when I purchased this lightsaber with 20% off. So it didn't even cost me what the original price of this one was. So I got 4 lightsabers for about what it would cost to buy this lightsaber. Well, technically my girlfriend got one of them for free, but we got 4 lightsabers for much, much less than what it would have cost for the original one of these, which is awesome. So yeah, the Force Unleashed is probably one of my favorite video games from Star Wars, aside from Star Wars Galaxies. And yeah, like I said, this is the Galen Merrick one that you can actually see the crystal through, and you can see the inner workings of the lightsaber on the inside of there. And I'll kind of get it a little closer there.
Very cool.
So yeah, very awesome. Now I can actually take these out of the boxes and display them and put them up. And like I said, my girlfriend has claimed these 2. And yeah, she said she's getting to keep those. So yeah, she gets to start her own collection of lightsabers.
They probably don't look as munchkin in her hands as they do yours.
No, I mean, I have a few chains, so I mean, yeah, I can palm basketball, so yeah, they look really small, but yeah. So
I didn't
there you
get
go.
an autograph from Sam Witwer either, but I did get a photo op with him, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm actually kind of cool.
They're not very tiny.
There you go. Hold this one. Hold that one. Here, hold on. There. That's her hand compared to my hand. So yeah, I am kind
Have
of
you ever
excited
built
though,
a lightsaber at Star Wars at Disney?
No. I did go to Galaxy's Edge during the convention in Anaheim in was it 2022? 2022. So. We went to Anaheim in 2022 and we actually went there, but when we went and tried to get an appointment, it was all booked up for the night, for like Star Wars night. It was completely booked up and I did not get a chance. Now I have some back here that I've actually put together and built kind of some of my own. And these are all from like what do they call them? VHC parts that I've kind of built and put my own core into. So I kind of did my own ideas with them and stuff like that. So yeah. So, but no, I actually have not got a chance to do that yet. I think it'll be fun. I actually, if I went, I've got so many lightsabers. I think I would actually be more excited about building my own droid than I would be the lightsaber.
Yeah.
I think building my own droid would be a lot of fun because, like I said, I'm picky about my lightsabers and stuff like that. I actually have one I'm getting ready to purchase. I have from Galaxy's Edge, the Signature Series. I actually have the Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber, but
nice.
I mean, it's even in my hands, it's big, it's heavy. To wear it on a belt, like if you put the cover tech wheel and you put it on a belt, it's very, very heavy. It's a lot heavier than a lot of the other lightsabers they have for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's very heavy. But in this style, you can kind of see the third-party versions of it. They're kind of a little bit thinner and a
He
little bit
says this is
lighter.
dangerous for me to watch. I don't have any things, and now I want all the things.
But I actually want the Qui-Gon Jinn, because Qui-Gon Jinn is one of my favorite Jedi, and I actually want to purchase this in a pixel lightsaber that is a lot lighter and a lot easier. I mean, it's just a lot brighter, and so yeah.
Nice. The only lightsaber I have, my son and I did build one at Galaxy's Edge, and it was very expensive experience, but it was cool. It was like 100 million% worth it. So
Well,
just to get pictures,
I have JD gave to me.
I built that one too. I actually had somebody this weekend. It was funny because I had somebody this weekend come by and they have heard about my collection, but they'd never actually seen my collection. These things. Good Lord. This is why I love our chat. I actually had somebody ask me, they said, do you think you would ever sell it to somebody else? Like if they were a collector and they said they wanted your collection. And I said, I would probably sell it to somebody. I said, but the only thing I would not give up is I probably would not give up my lightsabers. I said, my lightsabers are probably my most favorite part of my collection, which is why they're so prominently displayed up here. And so I would say you can have everything but the lightsabers if you give me the money for it, and then the lightsabers would get displayed along a wall in some kind of fancy, cool display, and I would keep all those. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it for showing off our thingies. It is now time to talk about the Acolyte. Woohoo!
Oh, speaking of which, I'll go back to something for a second. She said I need a JD size lightsaber. There you go.
Awesome.
There's a JD size lightsaber.
There you go. All right. So the Acolyte. So the Acolyte was released last year on June 4th. And if you're not from, just to let you know, if you have not been privy to the show before, this is not a spoiler-free discussion. If you've not seen the Acolyte, we're going to spoil everything. So it's set during the High Republic era, actually kind of toward the end of the High Republic era.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a, well, it starts off, it's like a mystery thriller type thing, because a Jedi Master gets murdered, and they are, the players are set out to investigate, and as they pull the string more and more, they realize that there are dark forces behind everything, and then they kind of also find out some not so great stuff about the Jedi Order, or specific individuals in the Jedi Order, not the Jedi Order as a whole, but we will get into that later. But as I said, it takes place kind of toward the end of the High Republic era. It actually takes place Give or take a few years, about 100 years before Phantom Menace. At the time, the Jedi Order is kind of at the height of their power, but you can kind of see some hints at a possible decline for more than one reason. But yeah, so you've got this team of Jedi investigating the murder of a Jedi Master. And it was 8 episodes long. Joy. Acolyte. But yeah, so this was, this was a Star Wars TV show, obviously, by Disney Plus. For whatever reason, it divided fans. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Everything that's come out has divided the fans. Whether it's the sequel trilogy or the prequel trilogy, if you remember that back in the day, or pretty much every TV show that's hit, it's divided the fans. So this is not anything new. However, one thing that happened with this show that it might have happened, but I don't remember it happening with other TV shows, is that there was like a lot of negative review bombing before the show even came out. So like these people hadn't even seen the show yet and were already trashing it. It's like, what's your problem? But we're here to talk about the show. We're not going to talk about the negativity surrounding it. So if that's what you want to hear, go find another show. That's not us.
I thought of an interesting analogy too. The funny thing about the people that were divided on the dark side of the Acolyte, it was funny to me because it was kind of the same thing as you go into a restaurant and you eat the entire meal, and at the end of the meal you say you hated it, but you ate the whole thing. So obviously you didn't hate it that much, because the people who hated it actually watched the entire series and fueled the numbers and the people that watched it, but they said, oh, it sucked, I hated it. But you watched the whole thing and got to the end and said you hated it. So you watched the whole thing. It's like,
on that note, here's some interesting information about its release. On its first day of release, it had 4.8 million viewers, and over the first 5 days had 11.1 million views, which made it Disney Plus biggest series premiere. And so a lot of people were watching it. So I don't know how many of those was like just, our first view, or how many people went back and watched it again. But it just seems like very suspect that it got such bad reviews, which eventually led to its unfortunate. Well, you know what? We've talked about this before. And technically, it never got canceled. It just didn't get renewed.
Yeah. There was never a discussion of there being a season 2 or there being a spinoff or anything of the sort. It was only ever slotted for the one season. So the misinformation out there that it got canceled and all this kind of nonsense and they scrapped it, that's not true, because there was, if it did well, there was probably an option for a second season or a spinoff of some sort, but that was never guaranteed. It was just a one-off TV show that obviously everything, in my opinion, any show that comes out is going to be a one-off show if it doesn't do well, or if it's quote unquote controversial or something like that. Because you can release the TV show, like the TV show Friends could have come out, for instance, and if they didn't like the first season, it wouldn't have gotten renewed for another season. That doesn't necessarily mean it was canceled. It just means they didn't continue on with the series, right. Which is the case in this. But everybody viewed it as, oh, it was being canceled and all this kind of stuff, which is not true.
Right.
I just looked up on Rotten Tomatoes. It currently has a 79% critic score and a 19% fan score. So yeah. I think a lot of that is review bombing from some toxic fans who were unhappy with some of the choices in the series.
I mean, and Tina said this earlier in the chat, and I agree with it. It had its flaws. It wasn't perfect. But every Star Wars TV show has a flaw here and there.
Oh, I wouldn't even leave it. I wouldn't even stop at TV shows. Every Star Wars movie has its flaws.
Okay, that's fair.
Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back had flaws. I don't. You can argue that all day.
What were those flaws?
That's another discussion. That's a discussion for another time. But
I'm going to come back to that though because I want to hear that.
So Bear says
I'm going to hold you to that.
Pretty cool. They said it in the High Republic era, and I think he's answering a comment of ours. He says people watching review it and justifying, saying I had to watch it for my viewers and make a judgment on it for them. Just imagine the biggest eye roll right here. But so let's get in and so that's a little general information about it. But let's get in and talk about. I've got a few talking points that I want to bring up. I'll start with Rich. Okay, without being too specific, what was your overall impression of the show as a whole?
I should say, big picture, that I love all Star Wars. The good, the bad, and the Last Jedi. I love it all. And I understand that some are made better, some are acted better, written better than others. But I love it. If there's Jedis and there's Force, I just love it. So I think it's important to preface that. But overall, this show, and I just finished my second viewing last night, I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I'm ready to take any heat from the chat on that, but
I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of heat from the chat, at least not the regulars, because they.
Well, maybe when it's published and people find out that someone liked the show.
Yeah, well, screw them.
But I did. I liked the show, and I on the second viewing, I kind of liked it a lot.
So we got some comments from the chat here. Joy said that she really enjoyed seeing a new group of Force viewers that weren't Sith or Jedi. Give me more of that. I'm going to talk about that later. Interesting point, Matthew. The man babies didn't like that there were women non-white leads. That is probably very true.
I don't know how far we're allowed to talk about that kind of stuff, but yes.
Well, we don't really get into the negativity, but
right.
I would say I agree that some of the people out there probably felt that way. Tina,
I think it was. I think
hang on. The witch stuff intriguing, and some of it a bit cringe. All the lightsaber fights were fucking great.
Yes,
I mean, I agree. I would agree with that for the most part. But that, the thing about it was for me was that like the witch thing. We had the witches of Dothamar in different medium for different reasons. So there being another cult of witches that are Force users really didn't bother me all that much. Now, maybe some of the things that they did, some of the things that they did, some of the chants and stuff, maybe it was a little weird. It was kind of odd, it struck me as a little weird, and maybe even the cringe is the word. But I really wasn't bothered by it because it's something that's always been present in Star Wars, which is cults that use the Force or witches that use the Force. And I've always been one of those kind of people that the Force doesn't stop with the Jedi and the Sith. So the fact that there's other people that have found ways to use it and maybe not in the same context as the Jedi and the Sith, that never bothered me. That was never an issue for me because it was just like, there's other people that can do that. It's not just them. And people need to understand that. And I think that's what people were that's kind of one of the things that people were wrapped up in was just the fact that, somebody else can use the Force. Yeah. The witches of Dothamar could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a prime example.
There all the time.
It's been the fact that the Jedi and the Sith aren't the only ones that can use the Force is not something that's like new. It's something that's, there's other people that can do it. So it's not
that's not new.
It's not that shocking.
I saw so much hate about that song that the witches did for like 27 seconds. And has anyone seen like a representation of an earthly witches coven? Like that's what they do. And
Oh,
I never understood people like getting so mad. They're like, I can't believe they sang a song in the Star Wars, and it's like that's what witches do, like here on Earth. And if they're gonna, and people in a galaxy as big as Star Wars are gonna sing, and they're gonna have rituals. So that just drove me nuts that people were mad about that.
I got funny little story, and I'll try to keep it quick. We saw that, and I heard all the complaining about it, and I had the same thought that you did, Rich. I had the same thought that clearly you've never seen rituals or things done, even in like the popular religions, from Christianity to Muslim to Jews and stuff like that.
Fair, yeah.
They all have their little things that they do that could be considered chants, or for somebody who's outside of those circles, it's something that just seems a little weird, but to them is normal. And the funny thing about it is that me and my girlfriend actually for Halloween last year, we went to Salem and spent Halloween in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, fun.
And obviously, I know everybody knows Salem's in Massachusetts, so that was kind of stupid, but that's just me. But my girlfriend, for her 40th birthday, as a birthday present to herself, she actually got a tattoo done of one of her favorite movies. The tattoo was done by a practicing Salem witch. And we got along with her so well, she actually invited us to the opening ceremonies of the Halloween Day celebration in Salem. And her coven were there, and they were doing a ceremony to open Halloween and they did a chant, and they did something that, like, if you're outside of that stuff, you'd be like, oh, that's a little weird. But no, this is relevant. Come on now, this is relevant to the conversation. But it was a little, yeah. It was something that was like something we had never seen before. We had never been a part of. We'd never actually seen it happen before. But when they did it, if you're from outside of that, it's like, wow, this is really kind of like over the top and weird. But you see them do it, and once you get it done, you understand what it was for. It's like, oh, okay, it makes sense. Now, to back to the conversation of the witches in this particular instance, was it a little cringe? Was it a little weird for me? I agree. I agree with Tina. It was a little weird. But at the same time, I was kind of like, I don't think it's that weird that it doesn't have a place there. It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up with some stuff here in the chat, see what's going on here. Now, while I did agree with Matt's comment about the man babies, I do not agree with this comment that Basil should have won an Emmy, Oscar, and People's Choice Awards. No.
He is so obsessed with Basil.
He is. I enjoyed the concepts that presented in Acolyte. Execution could have been better sometimes. Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. They did one thing they did do that was kind of weird that people like weren't like accustomed to was, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure somebody in the chat will be able to correct me on this, but one of the things they did was like there was an old style of storytelling that they used that had been used a long time ago. I think it was more in like I think it was more like in a Japanese culture or Asian culture. They used this storytelling ideas, and they kind of reverted back to that. And so the idea of the way they told it was they actually told it, and it built up to this mystery that you had to, as the story progressed, they revealed more and more of this mystery that was going on, and things like flashbacks and things like that. And some of the people didn't like it. Some people thought it was okay.
As done in, say, The Godfather 2, one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, it's the same type of storytelling. I thought it was appropriate and fantastic. And it's the way I watch Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, the movies, is I'm going to watch the prequels out of order to tell that story like The Godfather 2 is told. I think it makes a more compelling story. So, yeah, I saw people complaining about that too, and it's like, this is good storytelling. This is a way, just like you said, they built up the mystery and then went back and told you from a different perspective, but in the same scenes. And that, not only is that difficult to write and tell visually, but I thought the way they did it, even with the different camera angles, was again pretty darn good. I'm never going to be invited back on the show. I know it.
Tina says that she didn't like the witch chants that much, but wished we learned more about them. I would agree with that. Joy says, people sing in religious ceremonies? What?
What? Yeah, no
Right?
kidding. If you've ever been to a rosary ceremony, you would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, now one thing I will mention for Matt's sake about the rat, whatever the hell he is, the giant
God.
rat. His species is called the Tinian, and the Acolyte is not the first time that we see Tinians. In fact, well, this is the first live action that we saw a Tinian, but in Star Wars overall, it actually comes from legends as far back as 1979 in the book Han Solo's Revenge. So yeah, Tinians aren't really all that new. Kay says, can we agree that we need a world in which Jedi, Wookiees, and more cowboy are both needed for maximum happiness? Okay.
I'd agree.
I liked Kilnaka. I thought he was cool.
I had a friend message me, and they said Wookiees have lightsabers now. When they were watching it live when it happened, and I'm like, why wouldn't they? Every being in the Star Wars universe could be force sensitive and become a Jedi. And when I said it that way, they're like, oh, I guess that makes sense. I just feel like so many people were just like looking
there
for
was
little
a
things
Jedi in the Clone Wars.
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? Anybody can be a Jedi. Haven't we seen The Last Jedi?
That's why I said I don't understand this fascination in this. I dare say a closed-minded idea that like humanoid characters are the only ones who are force sensitive. That's not true. It's not true.
In Legends, there were a bunch of force sensitive Jedi Wookiees.
There's been force sensitive people in the Star Wars universe outside of the Jedi, outside of the Sith, of all species. And to this idea that they're restricted to certain types of species or certain types of people, or like other people who may possess the talent, it's just hidden, that they can't that it doesn't come out and they can't use it is a ridiculous idea to me. I don't get that restrictive, like I said, almost gatekeeping idea that only certain species and only certain people are have that ability. You may not have the ability to move rocks. You may not have the ability to throw people. Lift rocks. You may not have that ability to do that stuff because you haven't been trained properly or whatever. But that still doesn't mean that you don't possess the cognitive abilities or that foresight or any number of traits that could be considered to be force sensitive or / Jedi Sith traits. It is possible. So like I said, I don't get that obsession within the Star Wars, I guess, fandom about that it can't be done.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally got off track. JD, what are your overall impressions of the show as a whole?
Sorry. I agree. No, you're good. I agree with Rich. It had its issues. Like I said, I don't think there's a Star Wars that exists out there that doesn't have its issues, and like I said, we can get into that some other time. But it did have its issues. I don't think, like I said, everything else I loved mostly everything about it. The lightsaber fights were phenomenal. The Stranger was an awesome, compelling character for being a bad guy, for being a Sith. He's probably one of the most interesting Sith characters that I've seen in a long time. And if they were to actually expand or do a spin-off of just him and say Osha or something to that effect, I think it would not be a bad investment for them to do that, because I think he was an awesome, compelling, just a great character. I loved his character, and I would love to see and hear more stories about why he decided to change and why he did what he did. but the lightsaber fights were phenomenal. That was probably my favorite part of it. And I honestly, when I first heard about when it was going to take place, I was excited for the High Republic era to be coming to the screen because I've read through literally half of the High Republic novels, and I was excited for that era to come to screen to see that in person or to see that come through. So the fact that it was made controversial, the fact that its reception is and how people perceived it is in question, really in that respect kind of upsets me because I really would love to see them expand into other eras like the High Republic or the Dawn of the Jedi or things like that. And it makes me think that like Disney would be afraid to take risks like that in short form like TV shows or in long form like movies. It's kind of almost a disparagement or discouragement for them to do that because it was so controversial and because there were so many people that tried to I mean, in my opinion, with the bots and stuff, I really think they were trying to sabotage the whole thing and the success of it. And I think that's really what was going on. So that part of it, like I said, it does bother me that they may not venture into that, and it's all because of that. And so that's kind of disappointing in that. But overall, like I said, I liked the show. I'm not saying it didn't have issues. I'm just saying I think it was a great show and I liked it.
I'm irritated we're not going to get more live action Darth Plagueis. No.
Yeah.
Agreed. You know, it's like we've said multiple times on the show, it's not my favorite live action Star Wars TV, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I liked it. A lot of it I liked. There were some execution issues, but overall it was interesting. I mean, I really like, and a couple of people in the chat mentioned, I really like how they, Joy. I'll get back to that. There's a shit. I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Joy. No, I like that they explored the idea of Dragon Buddy. What's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a while.
Dragon Buddy.
How's it going? I really like that they explored the idea that the Jedi and the Sith are not the only entities out there, you know, doing the whole Force thing, and that's kind of, I mean, if you've read any of the High Republic, I don't know if they're in the novels, but I know that it's got to be in the novels because most of the comic books kind of bleed over. But in the you know what? I think it was in the book Battle for Jeddah, at least in that one, where they talked about the different people that, like, I wouldn't say worship the Force, but observe it and have different ideas on what it is. And you know, those people that, you know, there were other groups out there that thought the Jedi were desecrating the Force, whatever you can. You've read some of the High Republic, right, JD?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember
like I said,
part of the High Republic?
Which one was it?
Well, I know for sure it was in Battle of Jeddah, but it might have been in some other I haven't read them all. Truth be known.
Like I said, I read about. I think I literally got to like the halfway point, and that was it.
Yeah. But yeah, there are some aspects in the High Republic reading where they talk about other practitioners, for lack of a better term, of the Force. So I just like the idea that they were exploring that. Okay, so what Joy was saying, she wants a sequel of them committing a heist on the Jedi that they're going to call OSHA's 12.
Well done.
That's awesome.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tina. Love you, Tina.
Well,
I didn't either, Bear. I'm like, as far as like the books, like the books, that not the comic books, there are very few that I have read.
I actually have I have some of the comic. I have like a whole thing of the comic books in there.
Well, I've read all of the Phase 1 comic books, most of the Phase 2, and I started Phase 3, but I didn't finish that. For those of you maybe new to Star Wars, don't even know what we're talking about with this High Republic thing.
That's me.
What's that?
I said that's me. I'm new to it. I'm kidding.
Are you being facetious? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No. So the High Republic was kind of like a golden age for the Republic and golden age for the Jedi. Time period, roughly about 500 years before the Phantom Menace. For the most part, as far as I know, there really isn't any Sith goings on in the High Republic. So they're not really dealing with the Sith, and most of them don't even realize it exists. So like them to mention it in the show, like the Sith, it's like they're probably like, what?
In most of those books, they're dealing with
the Nihil.
Yep.
Yeah, the Nihil and the Dringir, and most of those. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get a little bit more specific and talk about some of the main characters, shall we? So, while not really a main character because she wasn't in the show very long, she is like the first Jedi we see in the show. I'm referring specifically to now I can't remember her name. Indara.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Who is Carrie-Anne Moss. What was her name in the Matrix? God damn it. Trinity. Trinity
In the Matrix.
Yeah, Carrie-Anne Moss. See, when they first started talking about the Acolyte, that was what got me kind of excited. It was like, oh man, freaking Carrie-Anne Moss is a Jedi. That's going to be awesome. So I was a little irritated when she dies after like 5 minutes.
But I mean, but they in the flashbacks they did.
Well, yeah, we got flashbacks of her, but
yeah.
But yeah, okay. So main characters, you've got her last name was Stenberg. I can't remember her first name, but the actress that played both Osha and May, she was kind of
Amandla Steinberg.
What's that?
Amandla Steinberg.
Something like that. She was the one that kind of drove the story, or one of the people that drove the story, because the story was kind of more or less about them. Yeah, what do you think of those characters per se?
I liked them both. I love the way they explored. There's so many echoes of other Star Wars in the Acolyte, and like looking at the idea of finding a vergence in the Force, the binarial nature of the Force, and having twins, even though they weren't twins, it was just one being, but having that concept, which echoes back obviously to Luke and Leia. I love that idea. I thought it was an interesting way to play that off as them being both good and bad and having their own struggles with the Force and with everyone else. So I love the main character. I loved watching their journey, especially the way they told it from both perspectives and the way it ended. And I thought Indara was cool. I mean, I thought she was very reminiscent of Qui-Gon in both the way she carried herself, trained her Padawans and did her own thing.
I wasn't nodding no to you, Rich.
Okay.
I completely.
I was like, bring it on. Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
No, here's okay. So, I don't know how much you're gonna like this.
All right.
Thought.
Here we go.
All right.
Here's the thing. While the premise of the character was really interesting, and I liked the character, I felt like the delivery itself was a little dry or a little stale. I don't know
which character are you talking about?
Osha and May.
Oh, okay.
I just I don't know. I felt like I don't know. Was she like a brand new actor or I don't know. I just
she was newer. She really hadn't been in a whole lot. She was newer.
I didn't dislike her because she wasn't white. I just didn't. She could have done better. And you know what? Another thing that I will say is maybe a lot of that wasn't the actor herself. Like, you could say the same thing about like some of the acting in the original Star Wars movie was a little dry or a little like, okay.
And the hallmark of Star Wars is bad acting.
A lot of that from the original can be contributed to someone who didn't know how to direct actors.
Well, people don't hate me for this, and don't come after me because let me fully explain. I don't not like Hayden Christensen. I love Hayden Christensen. I really do. And this is not a disparagement against him, but when the Attack of the Clones came out, he's a horrible actor. I'm sorry, but he just was terrible. And so this whole idea that
it could have been the direction he was given.
It very well could have. And I think by Revenge of the Sith he got a lot better. And I think the thing with Amanda Steinberg on this thing is that she was relatively new, but the thing about it is that she was trying to play two distinctly different characters and trying to keep that separation, which is really, honestly, if you look at it, is a monumental task for even seasoned actors to have to play the other version of a character that they're playing, but they're playing the same. It's the same person playing two different characters, and they're trying to act like two different people. It's hard. I've heard many background things. It's hard for people to do. I agree. It's very hard in the acting. It's one of the hardest things to do I've heard in the acting world. And for her to have to play two separate characters as a newer person in something as important as Star Wars, and I say that as a Star Wars nerd, as important as Star Wars, and try to get it right. And maybe the same thing, like you said, Steve, maybe the same thing happened. She just didn't get the direction. She didn't get the directors didn't push her in the right directions or didn't get her tuned in just right or dialed in just right. I would say it's partially the fact that it was a monumental task and the fact that maybe she just didn't get the direction she needed. So I don't blame her. I don't think she did a horrible job. Was it dry?
No, it wasn't atrocious acting.
No.
Tina kind of hit the nail on the head in what I was trying to get at. It felt a little wooden.
Yeah.
In both cases, Osha and May. But that being said, the character I thought was really interesting. But we need to move along. Next character I want to talk about is Soul. The Jedi Master, who was also one of the main, I guess, characters. He was kind of the one.
I gotta address Bear's comment real quick. He says Hayden is a great actor. Yes, I agree. I think he's made leaps and bounds of improvement since Attack of the Clones.
It's a craft that you learn.
Yeah, and in Revenge of the Sith, I think he learned a lot, and he really did a fantastic job as an actor. And I think in, like you said, Ahsoka and stuff like that, I think he in that kind of thing, I think he did a great job. I'm saying when he came out in Attack of the Clones, that was bad. So I wanted to make that very clear.
Very sure. So Saul was kind of the guy. He was the Jedi Master that was kind of leading the investigation, more or less. And man, he did some really awesome lightsaber battle stuff. This character,
Oh, yeah.
this actor did. He was awesome.
It was awesome.
I think you probably, JD, I think you and I talked about this when we originally talked about the Acolyte, but do you remember that this was that actor's first English speaking role?
Master Soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, this was his,
actually learned to. He specifically learned to speak English just so he could be in the Acolyte, so he
yeah,
could be in a Star Wars movie or
yeah,
or
That's
to
awesome.
be associated with Star Wars and be in a
and
show. He actually learned English just so he could do that.
right. And the actor has said that he took inspiration from Liam Neeson's performance as Qui-Gon
Mm.
Jinn, which
I can see that.
I
I
can
have
kind
Master
of
Soul's
see
lightsaber.
it. Yeah, I can kind
Yeah.
of see it. I can kind of see
Yeah.
it. But yeah, what do you think of what do you guys think of Soul? Is it Soul or Saul? Now I can't remember.
Master Soul.
Okay.
So
Rich?
I thought he was a cool character. Like you mentioned, he was total badass with the lightsaber. I really enjoyed watching those scenes. And it was kind of the same dynamic, right? It was the Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Anakin dynamic there. Soul was trying to prove himself. I know he felt that connection in the Force with Osha, trying to prove himself, like saying, "Oh, I want a Padawan," just like Qui-Gon felt drawn to Anakin, just like Anakin had this, desire to be a Jedi Master, to be the most powerful Jedi, etc. So I thought, again, it was echoing that same dynamic from other Star Wars, which I thought was cool. And there's also conflict there, He's trying to make these rash decisions and trying to bury his emotions. And I thought he did a great job with portraying all of those things. And it's just a cool character.
Yeah, I mean he's trying to hide, what he did.
Right.
What do you think of him, Jay? Tina says she likes Master.
Yeah, I like Master Soul. I thought he was a very good character. Loved the actor. I think he did a great job. I think as far as the storyline is concerned, he made a mistake because he, like others Jedi in the past, he allowed his emotions to overtake his better judgment. And when it came to Osha and when it came to Osha and May, and specifically, Osha, and he kind of handled it. He didn't handle it very good, and because of the mistakes he made, like you said, he tried to cover them up. He tried to, he tried to make up for those mistakes, and I think he felt guilt. I think he felt like he was responsible for kind of what happened with the witches. He kind of felt like he was responsible that Osha wasn't able to complete her training, or she walked away from her training, and that kind of thing. And I think that kind of set the stage for. I think because of that, it kind of set the stage for everything to go wrong. But it took place a long time ago, and we didn't realize that till we got more of the story behind him. Come to find out, because when you look at it, we assume that other characters are the cause of everything that happened, and by the time the story ends, we find out that it was actually his mistakes that fueled the entire thing, and his reliance on his emotion, how he felt about Osha and May, rather than being logical about it. And the part that I like, and like I said, I always come to the defense of the Jedi, is that he was actually the one that was trying to push. He was the one that was kind of pushing. He was pushing to get Osha out of the grasp of the witches. He was trying to be forceful about it, where Master Indara was actually the one that was like, no, we don't do that. We don't forcibly remove children. That has to be the choice between not only the kids, but it has to be a choice of the people, the parents or something like that, which is, kind of the defense that I go back to when people talk about, oh, the Jedi were just stealing kids. No, they're not. They're not stealing kids. They're actually giving people They're identifying people that have the ability, who are force sensitive. They try to encourage the training. They try to encourage them to become part of the Jedi. But in the end, it is a choice that they and their parents have to make, whether they want them to be a part of that or not. And he was trying to press the issue where Master Nandara was trying to talk more sense into him, and his passion overrode the whole thing, which caused the which basically kick-started the whole idea of May becoming a bad guy and that sort of thing. So yeah.
They're still talking about the dog in the chat right now.
Oh God.
Whatever it was. Okay. Next character we're going to mention, another quote unquote main character, I guess you could say, is discussion will not be complete until we talk about Jason Mendoza. I mean the stranger, not Jason. So the thing about the stranger is that once it was revealed who the actor was, on the first watch through of the show, for me, it was kind of hard to set myself outside of, because if you've ever seen the TV show The Good Place, it's the first time I saw this actor, Jacinto. What is his first name? Manny Jacinto. Yeah, the first time I ever saw him was he played the character Jason Mendoza on The Good Place. So it was kind of hard to be like, oh man, I can't unsee it now. So you got to kind of take yourself out of it. But very interesting character. Tina says he was fucking hot. So
we know where Tina.
I'd agree.
We know what Tina's doing about. But yeah, very very interesting character. And I like how they start him off as like this kind of bumbling, clumsy,
awkward
like, character, and then it reveals that it's like, yeah, that you kind of should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they reveal it's like this, he's basically, he's a former Padawan who didn't cut the mustard, and
which we still don't know. We still don't know the full story on that.
Yeah, we don't know the story.
Well, we know who the master was.
Right.
We know who the master was.
But
we
yeah,
know that he's separated.
Yeah,
but we still don't know
we don't
why.
know that story, and now we may never hear it.
We never will.
Yeah.
Maybe in a comic sometime.
But yeah, Soul was interesting. That lightsaber that he had was like, the fuck is that? That thing's awesome.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Does it come apart?
So yeah, that was very.
And I have a blade for each side that are actually short.
Oh, that is so awesome.
It's very interesting.
And that echoes back to Osaka's sabers,
Yeah.
Another thing that reflects other Star Wars.
But his lightsaber combat scenes were also pretty amazing. What do you guys think of Soul, or not Soul? The Stranger.
The Stranger.
What's his name? Kamir. Yeah.
Come here.
Come here.
Well, that was the awkward version of him, and then they just called him the Stranger because they didn't know he was. So I'm assuming he goes by Kamir. We never actually did hear he was a Darth or a Lord or anything like that. We never did hear that.
We did hear him.
We may
He never actually said he was a Sith. He said you may call me.
You would call me. Yeah.
He never said I am.
You may call me it. Yeah.
But he also kind of hinted at it when he was like, there needs to be two of us.
Yeah.
So maybe he wanted to be Sith. But see, with them being secretive, with them being so secretive at this time, how would they know there was already other Sith out there?
I think at some point there had to have been dark Jedi and people that
Yeah, I'll do it again.
left
Okay.
the light side. So
I digress. What did you think of
Well,
Kamir?
but me personally, number one, as far as Kamir is concerned, I think that, and like I said, normally I am the advocate of the Jedi. That's me. And I'm not saying I didn't like any of the Jedi because there was a lot of very compelling characters from the Jedi side of the things. But I think when it comes to this particular show, I think Kamir and his character his character is really, once they got to episode 5 with the lightsaber battles and you really got to see what he was capable of, to me, that just made the show. Because the first 4 episodes were kind of clunky and we knew they were building up to something, but we didn't know. And then when we got to see what we were dealing with, what he was about, and we got everything going forward, it was like 2 different shows after that.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think he really made the show. And to be honest with you, I don't look at like Osha and May as being the Acolyte. I look at it was about him being the Acolyte to what is revealed later as Darth Plagueis. And
yeah.
I think the idea of saying, well, you could call me a Sith, I think the whole thing was about him trying to prove himself to a Sith Lord, not about what Osha and May were doing. I think that was just a side piece. I think that was just kind of a piece to lead up to more things.
It's just interesting that you bring that up because crap now. See, I love when I can't remember people's fucking names. Leslie Headland, the showrunner. She said that it was meant that in the second season, if there was going to be one, it would have been confirmed that he would have eventually become the apprentice to Plagueis.
Right.
So,
right.
Again,
to me, Osha, yeah.
No
to me, Osha and May were a lot like, say, Ventress to Dooku. They were a tool that he was using to prove to his master that he had the capabilities.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were the Acolyte. I don't think that they were the ones with the Acolyte. I think it was all about Kamir from the get-go. And from his double lightsabers to his helmet, and everybody was using it as kind of like an insult. But I thought it was freaking hilarious to me. Everybody called him Darth Smiley because of his helmet.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go with it. Darth Smiley. That's great. I love it. That's funny as hell. Yeah, because his helmet, I mean, it does look like he's got Smiley as a bunch of teeth. I think it was funny as hell. I was like, I love it. Darth Smiley. That works good for me. But and everything. The fact that he could interrupt a lightsaber with his helmet or his armband, and he had such aggressive skills against so many Jedi, it really kind of brought me back to when Darth Maul took on 2 Jedi in The Phantom Menace. He was able to take on all those people by himself with what he had, and it was just, he was a badass. And after that, it was a whole different show. It took on a whole different tone. And it was so freaking cool to see what he was capable of and what he could do. And the lightsaber fights beyond that, I think it took on a whole different pace.
But yeah, he I like how he started talking about like what his helmet was made out of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like talking about cortosis. Right, Tina. Leslie also mentioned that he was going to be linked to the Knights of Ren. I guess there was a rumor out there or something that he was going to be the first Knight of Ren.
Yeah. His mask kind of looks like something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's like Joy just said, that's a pretty intriguing idea. But I imagine that would be something like maybe Plagueis like throws him away for a different apprentice, and he's like, well, I'll just go do this other thing then.
I think I may have misunderstood because I was working under the assumption that he was already Plagueis' apprentice, and he was looking, because you're always going to have the two, the one that has the power and the one that craves the power. And I assumed that he was looking for an apprentice so that
To overthrow them.
he could overthrow. Yeah, and
That's a
then
thought
they
too.
would be.
But now
That's how I took it.
We'll never find out. And Tina, you are right. Dang it. We will not find out. We can't have it because of the fucking crybabies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean, you might be right, and
Damn
I think
Star
that
Wars
might be like
fan.
one of the that may be one of the issues with like the storytelling processes.
Bear, he
Is
really is. Bear,
Yeah.
I mean, he really is Bear.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, because he really doesn't. You see Plagueis, but he doesn't address
Right.
Plagueis. He just talks about it, you know. And I don't think he really specifically ever mentions. He says, "Well, you could call me a Sith," but do we ever see anything indicating that he is actually considered a Sith Lord? I mean,
He
I
mentions
don't
a
remember there being.
master.
Yeah, he mentions his master.
Yeah.
But does his master consider him a Sith Lord, or is he just
Right.
at that point, is he just the acolyte? Is he just you're training, but you're not a Sith Lord yet, and I'm not going to call you a Sith Lord, kind of thing. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And I thought that's why Plagueis was lurking, because he was like, oh, this guy's getting ready to turn on me. So I don't know. That's just how I read it. And again, I'm trying to plug it into the timelines.
At this point, it's going to be 100% speculation because we'll never know.
Right. Yep.
Dang Star Wars fandom. This is why we can't have nice things.
And it really is.
Okay, so let's talk real quick about some of the other maybe not main characters. Let's talk about the witches real quich. We kind of already kind of discussed them a little bit with the whole thing about like other Force users. So we kind of did talk about them already. But then you've got let's see, a couple other characters. You had Yord, who was recently knighted as a Jedi Knight. He came to an unceremonious end, as did Soul's current Padawan, Jecki. Is that her name?
Jecki.
Jecki, who is actually X-23. And then, we talked a little bit about the Wookiee Jedi, Kelnaka. He was cool. That flashback scene where he had that lightsaber duel, that was pretty cool.
Yes, it was awesome.
It was,
I love that.
It was cool.
And it's like, how do you fight a Wookiee? Even when he lost his lightsaber, it's like, you're fighting a Wookiee, like
exactly,
and a Wookiee that can use the Force, like,
which they took. I
guess they took away from
kill him.
They were exactly,
yeah. When you don't want to kill him,
yeah.
Then we had Venestra, who is from the books. She was a little suspect. I know.
we
done an episode on all the known non-Sith or Jedi Force using groups. You mean like witches?
No.
I mean, no, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
It would make for an interesting.
It would.
We'd have to deep dive into the High Republic about that, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could talk about there's the Witches of Dathomir, obviously, and there's other things that can use the Force that aren't necessarily tied to the Jedi Order thing. I mean, that would be a conversation where we could also talk about.
That would be an interesting episode.
Yeah, we can talk about the father and the sister and the brother and
that too. Yeah.
And Abeloth and stuff like that.
We may want to wait until after the second season of Ahsoka for that one, though.
Yeah, we might.
If we're going to talk about those particular characters.
You've got those eels in the one book that can stop the Force from being felt. Is that
the Yalsamari?
Yeah. And they were able to stop the I don't know, I guess it numbed your ability to sense the Force and use it.
Yeah.
You throw one on a Jedi's face and you can't do anything.
What's the other?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It was probably a character you're going to talk about. It was that other Jedi, the one that was the fourth in the trio, the one that died from poisoning himself.
Oh, Torben.
Torben.
Yeah, Torben. Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually the you don't see much of him, but
Right.
in the flashback scenes for the most part, and then that kind of whole thing. But I did like his part, what he did as far as using the lightsaber and that kind of stuff when they were on the wit. That was kind of neat because he was deflecting the arrows with the lightsaber. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a neat scene.
Yeah.
I liked how he dedicated himself to, cloistering himself after everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just love the idea of a Jedi just meditating for decades, sitting there. Like that just seems something so Jedi-like. I feel like Qui-Gon would have been somebody.
There's a whole different episode going on in the chat room right now.
That's why we like our chat.
That's right. I wanted to talk about, real brief, talk about some of the different planets that we got to see on here that we hadn't seen before. There was Brindok, which they did both in flashback and current time. This was the planet where, they met up with the witches. So this was a planet that they kind of tied this back to what kind of started the whole High Republic storyline anyway, with the Great Disaster and how what they called it, the emergencies. Shit, now I can't remember what it was called. It was the thing where the big ship broke apart and scattered all across the galaxy. And this was one of the planets that got affected and basically took out the whole population, making it uninhabitable. But this is where the Coven ended up, and why the Jedi were there to investigate a vergence in the Force, and turns out that they were right, that there was. But this was a cool planet. I kind of would like to see more of it. And then maybe they did talk about it in the High Republic, but again, I haven't read a whole lot of it. There were a couple.
I like these are practical shots too, weren't they? These are on location. Shots, not the big screen that Favreau has or whatever.
Yeah.
The volume.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they did a lot of it was in the United Kingdom, but they also did some shots in Portugal. And I don't remember which planet they did that one on. And then there was a couple of, there was Olega was the planet where May found Torben. So there was that one. There was a planet called Uida, I think is how it's pronounced. That is the one where that's where May tracked Indara and killed her. And then there's a planet also that we see in here that was referred to as the unknown planet. But at some point in Star Wars history, I think it actually got a name called Baldimnik. You might want to look that up on Wikipedia. I think that's where I found it. But that was a cool, but it kind of reminded me of what was the planet that Luke went to? In the sequel trilogy, Octo, yeah. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that one. Yeah, Tina. I think the planets and the settings of come on, God damn it. Yeah, I think that was she said that she loved the planets and the settings of the Acolyte. Yeah, they were all pretty interesting. We got to see kind of another side of Coruscant. Maybe like a little newer, less blown up Jedi temple. But yeah, we got
Yeah, I thought the settings were cool. One of my biggest gripes about Star Wars, particularly the
you have gripes
sequels,
about
were
Star Wars. What?
yeah, I know. Um, I hated that Jakku was just Tatooine. I hated that, and then I also hated when they were on the salt planet and it just looked like Hoth, and then the guy like licks the salt and he's like salt, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this happening? So those two things just stick out to me as like boring choices. Like for I know I see why they're doing it to try to kind of echo back to the original trilogy, but yeah, it's Star Wars. Like I want to see crazy ass planets. I want to see planets that are alive with like all kinds of creatures, and I feel like we saw more interesting planets here without just going back to a desert planet or going to a white planet that was salt instead of snow. And I know that in the movies they go to other planets, but I thought it was interesting to just see other things here, and it really kind of addresses one small gripe I have with Star Wars.
Yeah.
That salt
there
thing
might be.
was crazy.
Voices, there might be a pepper planet out there somewhere.
There might be, and you know how we would know? Because somebody would go, Pepper.
Pepper.
I think they should do that just as a troll. I think they should do that.
Yeah.
Just as an awesome troll. I think that'd be funny as hell.
So Tina says that they could have done so much more with Jakku. They did, but it was in a novel. The novel was called. It was part of the Aftermath trilogy. It was.
Technically, they also did it in Battlefront 2. If you have not played the video game Battlefront 2, if you've not played the video game Battlefront 2 and you've not played the campaign, you do get to fight part of the last stand of the Empire's fleet over Jakku. You do get to participate in that battle in the video game. And that was over the planet of Jakku. So it was, it's featured in that too, which again is an awesome campaign. If you've never played it and you love Star Wars video games, you need to play Battlefront 2 campaign. It is actually really cool with the Inferno Squadron, and they've actually taken the storyline from that game and they've made references to it in not only the stuff about Jakku, but also in the Mandalorian. They also had a scene in there where they referenced one of the scenes from the video game from the campaign.
Yeah, the book was called Empire's End. It was the third part of the Aftermath trilogy.
I so hope, this is just a hope for me. I've been wanting them to do this for a while. Kind of off topic. I so hope that Starfighter is that. I think it's not. I think they actually said that's not going to take place during that. But I would love it if they would actually do a movie on the last battle of the last stand of the Empire. That would be so cool to see.
That would be cool.
In cinematics. I mean, just a one big, huge space battle. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Last big topic I wanted to talk about was kind of how the Jedi were depicted overall. Did you kind of see the hints of, for lack of a better way to put it, kind of the beginning of the end of the Jedi Order? Because there was a lot of hints. There were not necessarily just like within the Order and their hubris and whatnot, but like the senators, like that one senator that wants to do an investigation of them, and what did you think of that whole idea of maybe like the beginning of the end of the Jedi Order.
I think, like all religions, the Jedi Order is flawed, and I love that word hubris because it's always the Jedi hubris that trips them up. Always. Just think about, I don't know how you two were raised, but being Gen X, boys are so don't cry. You keep your emotions in. You hold your emotions in. And what happens when you do that? Nothing good. But the Jedi have decided to base their entire religion on holding their emotions in. So their hubris is always going to trip them up. And just trying to make themselves the guardians of the Republic and the guardians of good is always going to bring them into conflict with the government. We're already starting to see that here in the Acolyte. Obviously, we see it later in the trilogy. So I think the more we learn about the Jedi, not just in the movies, but in the books and the comics, they're kind of just a flawed order of people. Lots of good things in there, but I think we're dealing with some flawed people that make some questionable decisions and then try to hide their mistakes, and that just trips them up. They can't get out of their own way.
Chat room's over here talking about strip clubs and stripper poles.
Personally, I like
the ADHD of all this.
I love the fact that they actually were trying to highlight how the fall of the Jedi didn't happen instantly during the prequel
overnight.
And yeah, it didn't happen overnight. This was something that had been happening for a long time. And you're right. The fact that you're trying to hide, you make mistakes that everybody does, and not accepting the fact that you make mistakes, but then also trying to hide those mistakes. That was a big issue for them, obviously. But you add in the fact that they had a singular mission, which is something that Qui-Gon Jinn was always trying to teach, was their mission. Their singular mission was, to be, to help people in need, to be those, that guidance, that this, that, and the other, and not get caught up in politics, not get caught up in other, wars and all this kind of stuff. That's not what they were about. And the fact that in the Acolyte, you see them start to add in that element of politics and being part of the Republic, instead of just doing their own thing and being their own thing and holding to their creed the way they should have. You see how that at that point they were just making mistakes, and it wasn't even like being hidden. It was just like, yeah, that was, they're screwing up, and you could already see it happening. And then later they try to correct those mistakes, and obviously by the time you get to Palpatine, it's too late. They've already screwed up too badly. And you get people like Qui-Gon Jinn, who's considered kind of not really an outcast, but he's considered an outsider because he goes against what the council wants, because now it's become a norm to be wrapped up in politics, to be wrapped up in wars, to be wrapped up in things that got them outside of the original idea of the Jedi. And somebody like him, who they consider an outlier, kind of goes in and says, hey, look, we're doing this all wrong. We need to get back to our core ideas. And they go, oh, no, we don't want to do that. You're not really in touch with our ideas. And you're kind of, we're kind of pushing you away because that's not who we are anymore, blah, blah, blah. And really, honestly, people like Qui-Gon Jinn were the ones who are what the Jedi should be and who the Jedi should be. And like I said, that's why I think he's one of my most favorite characters, because of that. And it's fun. It's cool to see how that, like I said, that transition didn't happen overnight. It didn't even happen in like a 5 or 10 year span. It was going on way before Palpatine ever showed up. Palpatine just saw that. He saw the weaknesses. He saw how much they had changed, and he used that against them. And he took advantage of it. And I think that's great that they're highlighting this. So, that part of it I think was great. I'm still going to back up my Jedi. I still going to, they say that their core values, that what they stood for and what their original creed was, is still valid. And I still think that a lot of them were trying to, like the lower level ones, were still trying to hold to that ideology. But we can go back to novels like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, okay? We read about these romanticized versions of the knights and like samurai, But if you actually look at history, if you actually look at what they really were about, what they really did, and what their actions really were, it tells a much different history between what the legend tells you about them and what they actually did. Like the Knights of the Crusades and stuff like that. It's always romanticized that they fought for religion, they fought for love and peace, blah blah. But the things that they actually did in their actual, their legitimate actions tell a completely different story.
And that's what Luke says in The Last Jedi. I mean, you are almost exactly saying what Luke said in The Last Jedi. And remember when he just spits out the word legend? He's like, "I'm Luke Skywalker, the legend," and it's just with that the disdain of that. And
there's a difference between he was telling the difference of who people thought he was and what he did, as opposed to the actual person and what he was really about, and the fact that he felt these things and blah blah. And it's the same thing. It's no different. The Jedi had flaws. You're absolutely right. The Jedi 100% had flaws. They had things about them, like Master Soul's inability to control his emotions and things like that. But then you throw in politics, you throw in war, you throw in getting involved with all those things and things that they never should have done. And it was just a catalyst for a snowball that just got worse and worse and worse. And then by the time Palpatine shows up, he's like, aha, their weaknesses are so great that now's my time to act on behalf of the Sith. And it's time for us to come out and actually expose these weaknesses and use it against them. But the ball was rolling way before Palpatine even showed up. And so, but I mean, nobody's flawless. Nothing is flawless, like Star Wars itself. It's not flawless. It has its issues, and the Jedi did too. I'm still going to stand behind them. I'm still going to support them. I don't care what anybody says. But, Yeah,
I mean, they're kick-ass. They can lift rocks. They use lightsabers. I mean, they're
not about lifting rocks.
It is worth lifting rocks, damn it.
I mean, they're total badasses, and when you have someone that can stay the course, like a Qui-Gon, like he's one of my favorites too, because I feel like he really exemplified everything that the Jedi were supposed to be, not what they actually were.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we got to wrap things up. Any really quick final thoughts? Because I've got school starting here in a couple of minutes.
I would encourage people, if you have not given it a second view, please watch it again. Please ignore all the hate and all the crap. Judge for yourself. Watch it again. Take a second look at it, and really kind of keep an open mind and give it a fair assessment.
And I'll piggyback on that and say, if nothing else, just watch episode 5. Like when I watched that the second time, I was like, this is honestly probably one of my favorite Star Wars parts. It's just such a kick-ass lightsaber battle, and the music's good. It's filmed well, and it's just excellent Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Rich, thanks for coming on and talking Star Wars with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a blast.
Back anytime.
Maybe a less controversial show. Maybe we could talk about the Clone Wars movie.
We actually did that. A couple months ago. But I'll keep you apprised of what our episodes will be.
Awesome. Great show.
We really should get into our Starships of Star Wars episodes eventually that we've been planning for like over a year. Chat room, thanks for being, the chat room. You guys.
It's never a dull moment with our chat room.
Never a dull moment in the chat room. They had their whole conversation about the dog from Acolyte or whatever the hell he is. But for all of you watching for the first time, please come back. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe and like all that cool stuff on our YouTube channel. Next week, we will be talking about Vision Season 3. And then the week after that, we are going to have our 6 Years of Shenanigans episode. So thanks for viewing, whether you're viewing live or not. Thanks for coming in, and hope to see you again next week and beyond. And may the Force be with you.